Hello, I'm David Groninger in Seattle, Washington, and today is Monday, December 28th, 2015. It's a few days after Christmas and a few days before New Year's Eve. Well, every day I ask myself the question, what can I say in a 10-minute message that might help 10 million people? I write down the answers and then I give a talk on it. My idea is to give 1,000 talks. It'll take me 3 years to do it at one a day. And my idea is that out of 1,000 talks, maybe one just might help the 10 million people. And I picked 1,000 because Thomas Edison, in his invention of the light bulb, it took him 1,000 tries before he got a light bulb that worked. So I figure that 999 tries that didn't work was worth it to get light and to get a light bulb. Similarly, I feel like that if I have to give 999 talks that don't work in order to find one that does, to me it's worth the effort. So the title of this talk is called How to Love Your Job. And one way to love your job, including life itself, is to be healthy and drink plenty of water. Everybody around you is drinking coffee, but if you drink water instead, it's my idea that things are going to work out better for you. Well, the idea of the talk today is called How to Love Your Job. I used to hate playing the piano because I took lessons when I was 7 years old. My teacher was about 85. I couldn't really concentrate very well. It would take me a whole year to learn one piece. I wouldn't even practice between the lessons. The teacher must have thought I was a complete idiot. And after taking a whole year to learn one piece, as soon as the summer happened, then I'd forget the whole piece in a week. And then we'd start the next year of lessons with the same thing. So I wasn't very good, but later on in life, I actually took a memory course, and I reconstructed many of my piano lessons as a part of a project from this memory course. And I remembered a lot of things that took place in the lesson, a lot of the things that the piano teacher was trying to teach me that I wasn't even listening to or paying much attention to at the time, way back then. So it was quite interesting. So I taught myself how to play when I was about 40 years old. So I'm going to play a piece at the end of this short talk just to show you an example of some activity in life that I used to hate and now I love. Well, so here's the talk about how to love your job. I remember in the 1970s a song that went like this: if you can't find someone to love, then love the one that you're with. Well, so my idea on a job is this, or the type of work or business, whatever you do, if you cannot find a job that you love, then love the job that you have. At least learn to love it long enough until you develop the habits of how to get along well with the people there, how to get along well with yourself, how to build a good relationship with yourself in the job there, so that when you do find the job you love and move on, you're taking with you some good habits. You see, I know a lot of people who, if they left their job now in order to find a job that they would love, it might not be that easy. Because if it were, then since many people are not in their second job right now, or third or fourth or fifth, many people are in their seventh or eighth or ninth jobs in their life. If it were so simple to just find a job that you loved and move on to it, and then you would love it, then it would seem that everybody would be in a job that they loved, because they've already left the first job that they didn't love, and now they will be in a job that they loved. However, when I get on the freeway in the morning or in the afternoon, and I look at the drivers going to and from work, or if I'm on a bus and I look at the people going to and from their work, a lot of them actually do not seem to appear as though they're going to or coming from a place that they really, really love. So I invite you as a listener to find ways to love the work that you do. And I find that, for many people, there's many books and many advices that, you should just find your passions. Leave the job that you don't like and find the job that you like, and then everything will be great. Well, I've just discovered that, like I said, the people who do that, they're not happy in the second one either. Maybe because if they were, then like I say, the people I meet on the freeway would be pretty happy people. Well, what I find is that most people tend to, instead of, quit the job that they don't love in order to find a job that they love, they tend to just stay at the job that they don't love, and they tolerate the job. So my idea is this: if you're going to stay at a job that you don't love, rather than to tolerate it, learn how to love it. And the ability to learn how to love a job, there's many strategies for doing this. One strategy is love yourself more. Take better care of yourself. Take better care of your health. Do more things that make you happy in the job and outside of the job, because you're the one, like they say, wherever you go, there you are. You're the one who takes yourself to the job. You are at the working place, and the relationship you have with you when you are there can surely influence the quality of your experience. You see, take any job in the world, whether bus driver, brain surgeon, or bookkeeper, and there are people at each of these jobs who love it and hate it, or don't really care too much about it. And it's not so much the name of the job as much as it is the intention of the person doing the job to have a good quality relationship with themselves and with the people at the job, and a desire to improve on your quality of your experience, the joy of being there, and anything you can. One successful little tip is to look at all the things connected with your job that aren't really your job that you can enjoy doing. For example, the commute. You're going to the job and from the job. Well, how many people are sitting in a car, and because they're thinking about a place they're going to that they don't want to be, where they do not want to be, they look a little bit unhappy, and they're doing so many things to distract themselves from the idea of going there. If they're on a bus, they're reading a book. If they're in the car, they're texting or talking on the phone or listening to music or drinking coffee or something, anything other than the experience. Well, my idea is this: take the commute to and from work and find a way to totally enjoy that commute. And what about your lunch break and your coffee breaks? These are things that aren't exactly your job, but if you learn to love your coffee break, love your lunch break, at least you're doing more things in your working day that you do enjoy that might spill over into the working life. Then you take the actual 8 hours that you're obligated to be and doing someplace at work. Find the things about that job that you enjoy most, and maybe try to spend more time with the people you enjoy, the things you enjoy, and bit by bit you'll increase the percentages of the time you spend at your work in the things that you like, and maybe that will help you love the job more. And then do a lot of trial and error and experimentation with other types of work that you think you might, better enjoy, by at least visiting different workplaces, meeting people in different types of work, and maybe on a day off or before or after work, go to some place of work that you think you might like, hang out with the people, meet the people there, test things out, test them out. Well, so what I did was I once made a list of the benefits that would happen to somebody who really, really loved their job. And I want to read off these benefits. Number 1, better physical health. Number 2, a longer life. Number 3, more money during your retirement because you'll have more years of living during your retirement. At least that's the chance, a probability of living longer. I would think that if you're happy during your 40 years of working life, you're going to take better care of yourself. You're not going to do so many addictions and so many, comfort food and comfort drinking or whatever it might be in order to combat or handle or manage stress because you're doing something you don't love. If you're doing something you really love, you don't have to manage stress. So you don't have to eat the comfort food or do things that might not be supportive to your health. So I think a person who loves their work has a probability of living longer. I think you're going to have better emotional and mental health and more happiness and overall well-being. If you love your work, you're going to have a greater enjoyment of your time off, that is the weekends, before and after work. And this includes a greater amount of enjoyment in your hobbies, your recreation, your pastimes, or any other escapism or diversions. I believe you'll have more income during your working years. You'll have a better chance for promotion and a better chance for assuming greater responsibility. And this can also lead to a greater income. There's a greater likelihood that you'll be successful if you wanted to start your own business based upon the kind of work that you do. Because if you already enjoy the kind of work, you've taught yourself to enjoy that, well then now when you decide to start your own business in that similar kind of industry, you'll have the capacity or the interest in working the longer hours that it usually takes in order to be successful in business, at least in the beginning. Then you'll have more money at retirement time, and hence you'll have more income, during your retirement years. You'll have more friends during your working life and more friends in your retirement life, because you will have taken the interest. When you love what you're doing and you love the place where you are, the tendency is that you're going to build good quality relationships. If you hate where you are, you might actually be avoiding a lot of the people there, or maybe you might be unattractive in terms of other people approaching you, because you're kind of not really expressing yourself much. You're going through the motions there, and you're somebody that people aren't really attracted to building a relationship with. When you love your job, it makes you a more attractive person in the workplace. You'll build more friendships, and these friendships can last into your retirement time as well. You'll have a better enjoyment of all areas of life. You'll have better relationships. You'll have a whole lifetime of joy, the joy of being of service to other people. You'll have increased competence, heightened skills, and increased awareness at the job and in all areas of life. Less likely to have accidents at the job, and during your commute and at home. See, when you like what you're doing, you pay more attention. And when you pay more attention, you're less likely to be thinking of other things, and henceforth not being observant of what's happening right in front of you, and hence lowering the risk of getting in some kind of an accident or mishap. I think the greatest benefit of all of loving your work is this. Our work is a big chunk of our life. When you are happy or decide to find a way to feel good, to be as joyful as you can in this largest chunk of life, that is 40 years of your life, 8 or 9 or 10 hours of your day, if you find a way to have a great attitude, to be happy, to love this time, this is going to spill over into all of your other time. It's going to spill over into your weekends and your nights. And when you look at your whole life, this huge part of time is going to be a huge part of your time that you can say, hey, I loved my life because you loved this biggest block of time. Well, these are just benefits that I kind of wrote up that are basically, they're not guarantees, but it's like saying you have a greater probability of having these benefits if you really decide to love your work. And remember, you can always find a job that you love more than the one you have. But before you make that transition, do everything you can to really build a great heaven on earth right in the job you have, and you can really do it. Well, like I said before, I used to hate to play the piano. I used to do everything I could to avoid going to my lessons. I used to hate my piano teacher, hate the piano instrument, you name it. Well, now I love it. I taught myself how to love it, so now I'm going to play a piano piece to end off this talk. And it's a piece that I love to play. Thank you. This is David Groninger in Seattle, Washington, saying have a great 2016, and thank you very much for taking the time to listen to my talk today.